It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you and welcome to the second of our 2 semifinal games as we get closer and closer to crowning this year's elementary school champion here on the Science Bowl. We started with 40 elementary schools. We're down almost to the final 2. One of those final 2 is Glen Arden Woods. The second will be one of these 2 teams. Let's meet them right now. First from Greenbelt Elementary, would you please say hello to Kai Waters, Hiram Hudson, and John Kelly. And from Whitehall Elementary, would you please welcome Maya Zaffarella, Alonzo Singh, and 7th Johnson. And now here are the categories of questions we use on the Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing, and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's science potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
And here on the Science Bowl, we arrange our game board according to question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10 points. The tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. At the end of the 2 rounds today, we will have the second of our finalists joining Glen Arden Woods. So a lot at stake today. Let's go over and make sure everything is working properly. Hiram, would you try the red team's buzzer? It looks good and it sounds good. Good luck to you and to Kai and to John. And Alonzo, how about the green teams? It also is A-OK. Good luck to you, to Maya, and to 7th. Congratulations, guys, making it this far in the competition. Greenbelt, you have never won the county championship. It could be your year. Whitehall, you are the defending champions. Last year you won the championship for the first time ever for your school. I know you'd like to repeat, so you're all wonderful players. Let's have a good game. Alphabetically, G before W, so Greenbelt and Hiram, let's play this bowl.
Green things for 15 points.
Green things for 15 points. Team's wood pulp that is used for making paper comes from softwood trees like pines and spruce and fir. Those trees are also known as evergreens, but also as these kinds of trees. Whitehall.
Conifers.
Conifers, absolutely right. Good. Maya and 7th, good teamwork over there. Go green.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, the word horripilation refers to these that pop up whenever you're watching a scary movie or you're very cold. Whitehall.
Goosebumps.
Goosebumps, yeah, horripilation. A fancy way of saying goosebumps. Go green.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points is a visual question. Look at the monitor, please, in the studio, if you would. Scientists have taken to calling this strange creature the headless chicken monster. It is actually related to starfish. It's an echinoderm. And its name has what same name as the vegetable used for making pickles. Greenbelt.
Cucumbers.
Cucumbers. That's a sea cucumber. Yes, good. Red.
Zoo parade for 15 points.
Zoo parade for 15 points. Teams, scientists have recently discovered a worm that, if it is decapitated, will grow back. Whitehall.
Snake.
No. Greenbelt. Recently, scientists has discovered a worm that, if you decapitate it, will grow back a new what?
Head.
Head. That's right. Good. Red.
Body systems for 10 points.
Body systems for 10 points. Teams, if all you want for Christmas is your 2 front teeth, you're Whitehall.
Incisors?
Yeah, you're asking Santa Claus for a couple of incisors. That's it. Thank you, 7th. Good assist. Go.
Let's get physical for 15.
For 15 points, and let's get physical. Teams, when Galileo dropped those two different weights from the Leaning Tower of Pisa, he discovered that 9.8 meters per second was this A-initialed constant. A-initialed, Greenbelt.
Acceleration.
Acceleration, yes indeed. Good answer. Go Red.
Dateline science for 15 points.
For 15 points, teams, the question in that category is, it has been found that just one bad gene causes this kind of anemia that often afflicts African Americans. Whitehall.
Sickle cell.
Sickle cell it is. Good. Green.
Super 8 for 10.
Zuprade for 10 points. Teams, your question. The most popular meat in America is chicken. The most popular fish in America is named the chicken of the sea on the can.
Tuna.
Tuna, canned tuna, chicken of the sea, along with Starkist and other brands. 105, 105, tie score, advantage Red. Go.
Dateline science for 20.
Dateline for 20 points. Teams, you know Isaac Newton was a very famous scientist, but he also dabbled in alchemy. It turned out that he went half mad at the end of his life because he was drinking this liquid metal.
Mercury.
Mercury, yes, sometimes called quicksilver. He was doing that thinking he could change things into gold. Of course, it didn't happen. Go. Green.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline for 10 points. Teams, the northernmost island in the Galapagos chain is named for this man who put the Galapagos Islands,
Darwin.
Darwin, on the map. Indeed. Thank you, Hiram. Go.
Body systems for 20 points.
Body systems for 20. Teams, if you're one of those kids who used to get strep throat all the time, a lot of times it helps if this T initial part of your immune. Greenbelt.
Tonsils.
Tonsils, yeah. If you get your tonsils out, sometimes that keeps the strep from coming back. Thanks, Kai, for your assist. Go, Hiram.
Green things for 10 points.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, this same word describes what runs down the middle of a leaf and...
Vein.
Not a vein. Good try. This word describes what runs down the middle of a leaf and also the 12 pairs of bones that make up a cage in our torso.
Spine.
Ribs. Ribs. A rib runs down and we have 12 pairs of ribs. Go again. Red. You have a 10-point advantage.
Science potpourri for 20 points.
Potpourri for 20. Teams, the macula, M-A-C-U-L-A, is part of the eye, and it's also a dark spot that you find on some heavenly bodies. The macula on the eye is a dark spot on this photosensitive layer at the back of your eye. Greenbelt?
Retina.
Retina, yeah, and is the area of least vision. All right, the buzzer says we've come to the end of the first round. It has been a good one. Greenbelt is at 155, Whitehall at 125. We'll be right back with round two. Don't you go away. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Hope you're enjoying this game at home as much as we are here in the studios. We said at the top of the program, this is the second of our two semifinal games. Today's winner goes on to take on Glen Arden Woods for the chance to get this year's county championship. Whitehall is our defending champ, and Greenbelt, never have they won a county championship, and of course they are tasting it too today. And you know, just for making it to the semifinals, our 4 semifinalists, all of them are taking home Audubon field guides and a choice of subjects. We hope that they will keep these books throughout their lives and use them when they're outside to identify birds and reptiles and fish, the night sky, rocks and minerals. It is our gift and our thanks to them for all of their good scholarship and their participation in Science Bowl. And the ultimate winner, today's finalist, today's champion, we have a plaque for the school and individual plaques for each of the players and each of the alternates and coaches. So that's what we're playing for today. Let's go over and find out about these young people. You've been on the program before. It's nice to have you back. Hiram, tell us about Greenbelt Elementary. What do you like about the place?
I like the teachers. The teachers encourage us. They actually care about us. They help us learn from our mistakes.
That's what teachers should be, right? If you're not doing that, maybe you're not in the right place, and Greenbelt has a fantastic faculty over there. Now, who's the sponsor of your team?
Mr. Richardson.
Absolutely, and he has done a fantastic job this year. Who's your principal?
Miss Gaines. Dr. Gaines.
Dr. Gaines, and she is behind you 100%. Do you have any alternates on your team?
Yes. Well, we keep rotating, but right now it's Eleanor.
And she will be out in just a few moments' time. Hiram told us last time he was here that his professional aspiration is to become a librarian, which we think is wonderful. How'd you get that idea?
Well, we had career day, and one of them was a librarian, and it made me very interested.
It made a great impression on you, and you're a very literate young man, and that's why you're doing so well on this program here today. Can I ask what did you do to your wrist?
I flipped over on Tuesday.
Oh,
when he was walking backwards,
Oh,
which
my
I always
goodness.
tell him not to do. And of course, the one time that I'm not there to tell him to do it, he breaks his wrist. So
Hiram said, "You sound just like my mother over there." Hey, it goes with being a kid. You're going to be all right, aren't you? You just got to wear that thing. John, nice to have you here today. John, tell us the John story. What do you do in your spare time?
I like to draw lots of technical drawings, like diagrams of stuff like spaceships and airships and stuff.
Ah, that's a real talent. That's a real talent. And what do you want to do professionally someday?
Well, I might want to be a self-employed engineer, and then I'd sell like my my designs and stuff. Maybe.
Yeah, so you're going to be an entrepreneur, so you're going to run it all. You're going to be successful at that. You're a fine young man. You're a good player. Good to have you here. And Kai, tell us the Kai story. What do you want to do someday?
I want to be an engineer.
An engineer, yeah. Why so?
I like building things like Tinker Crate.
Yeah.
I like building with Legos.
Legos. Boy, Legos are so popular, and they have inspired, I think, so many engineering careers. A good player, too. Nice to have you back today. Whitehall, nice to have you guys here. Alonzo, Whitehall, defending champion. You want to keep it, don't you?
Yeah.
You don't want to give that back. You're over there in Bowie, and who's your principal?
Miss Farmer.
Wonderful. And you have two sponsors, do you not? Who are they?
Miss Chilco and Miss Wine.
Wonderful. And they work so hard. Thank both of you for what you've done for this team, because you made it possible. Last year's championship, and you came here today. The Greenbelt team has on matching Greenbelt shirts. You've got on the Science Bowl matching shirts over there. You look the part, and you certainly sound the part. You're great students. What do you want to do someday, Alonzo?
Well, I want to be a graphic designer.
Yeah, that's great. And any alternates on your team?
Yes, we have 3 alternates, Johnny, Abigail, and Emma.
And they'll be out in just a few moments with your sponsors here. Seventh, nice to have you with us today. Tell us about any future plans. You told me before you wanted to be a basketball player, not just a basketball player, the best basketball player. So you want to be even better than LeBron, huh?
Yep.
Yeah, oh, I like that. You've got that confidence about you. What do you do if you're not playing basketball?
I'm pretty athletic, so I either play cricket or I study a lot, and yeah.
Yeah, you're doing all the right things, and you've made a great impression here on the show. You're a great asset to that team. And Maya, you are an asset to the team too. Why did you want to be on the Science Bowl initially?
I thought that it would look good on my resume
Yeah.
for like future education and stuff. So
Absolutely. You're a very forward-thinking young lady, because all these things count eventually, don't they? And if people see you're on the Science Bowl and it's become an institution, it's been around for a long time, that you were part of that, that's meaningful. But more than that, I just hope you enjoy being here and have a good time with us. Good to have you back. Let's get back into the game. Whitehall 125, Greenbelt 155. Lots of points to give away. All the toughest ones remain. Hiram, go for it.
Let's get physical for 20 points.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, if you've ever made a model volcano, and who hasn't, you've probably used something called NaHCO3, which is better known as this substance, Greenbelt.
Vinegar.
Not vinegar, no, NaHCO3. You've used that to make a model volcano. That is better known as what?
baking soda.
It is baking soda. That is bicarbonate of soda. Well done. Go green. Good comeback. You're 10 points off the lead.
Super 8 for 20.
Zoo Parade, 20 points. Teams, your question is a visual question. If you would look at the monitor in the studio, please. And this spiny anteater is known as an echidna. An echidna is a mammal, but it is not a marsupial. It is not a placental mammal. It is a monotreme, which means it and the platypus are the only animals that do what, Greenbelt?
Lay eggs that are mammals.
Absolutely right. They are the only mammals that lay eggs. You know your mammals. Go, Hiram.
Science potpourri for 25 points.
Science potpourri for 25 points. Teams, in a drug study, the people who are taking the drug report 75% of the time that they feel some relief. But yes, Whitehall.
Placebo?
Yeah, the 30% who are taking the placebo also report some relief. Yeah, which is kind of psychological. Thank you, Seventh. You read into that perfectly. Go.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, older people can't absorb vitamin B12 as well as they did when they were younger because they are lacking enough of this stomach acid.
Hydrochloric acid.
It is HCl. Yes, sir. Good. Go.
Green things for 20 points.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, the top of a forest is known as the canopy, the tops of the trees. What you initial term describes what's down by the forest floor. What do we call that?
The understory.
Yeah. Good. Go.
Dateline science for 25 points.
Dateline science for 25 points. Teams, this is the 30th anniversary of Tim Berners-Lee inventing this. Whitehall.
The stove?
The what?
The stove?
No, not the stove. Tim Berners-Lee, 30 years ago, invented this.
The microwave.
The World Wide Web. The World Wide Web. Go again, red.
Let's get science potpourri for 10 points.
Science potpourri for 10 points. Teams, something in a thermos temporarily neither gains nor loses this.
Thermal energy.
Give me another name for that.
Heat.
Heat. Good. Go. Red.
Zoo parade for 25 points.
Zoo parade for 25 points. Teams, the Asian banded goose is the only bird in the world that can fly over the Himalayas where the air is very thin. It's because it has certain adaptations. Its physiology is different from other birds. Spell physiology. Greenbelt.
Physiology. Physiology.
You nailed it. Yes, sir. Go, Hiram.
Let's get physical for 10 points.
Physical for 10 points. Teams, an unpopped popcorn kernel has less than the 14% water content that is normal, so it doesn't produce enough of this to explode the kernel.
Oil?
Not oil. The kernel doesn't have enough of what inside of it has less than 14% water content. It doesn't have enough of what to explode the kernel.
Oxygen?
Steam. Steam. The water gets heated and then steam is what actually pops it open. Go again, red.
Green things for 25 points.
Green things for 25. Big one in that category. Teams, if you have a garden and you go out to water your garden and you're using the hose, it's not very efficient because a lot of the water is lost to evaporation. Better is to use the drip version of this so that the water goes directly to the roots. The drip version of what?
A water spout?
Not a water spout. The drip version of this is better than spraying it with a hose because it gets the water directly to the roots.
Percolation?
Close. Irrigation. Irrigation. Go again, red.
Let's get physical for 25 points.
All right, this is a multiple choice question. Teams, the 5th place winner in the Science Talent Search this year was a young girl about your age. She got $90,000. She was investigating magma and its syrupy quality, whether it flows faster or slower the more water it has. Is that known as vacuity, verbosity?
Viscosity.
It is viscosity. You didn't even need me to go there. Go.
Zoo parade for 5 points.
Zoo parade for 5 points. Teams, no self-respecting kind of reptile would live in a sewer. But the Ninja Turtle variety of this reptile does. I think I gave it away. I already said turtle, so we're going to have to throw that one out. My apologies. Go again, Red.
Let's get physical for 5 points.
Physical for 5 points. Teams, this English nursery rhyme character illustrates the second law of thermodynamics, which is irreversible disorder, because this character fell off a wall. Whitehall.
Humpty Dumpty.
Humpty Dumpty is right. That's right. Go. Green.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems, 5 points. Teams, your question is as follows. If you go to the circus and the guy can take his leg and put it over his head, Whitehall.
Contortionist.
He is a contortionist, but Greenbelt, we say he is double what?
Jointed.
Jointed. That's what I want to hear. Go, Rid.
Science potpourri for 5 points.
Potpourri for 5 points, teams. Some shepherds are not using their sheepdogs anymore. They're using these pilotless planes. Whitehall.
Drones.
Drones that are playing a recording of dogs barking. 2 questions left. Alonso?
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. A little joke. Why do plants hate mathematics? It seems it gives them square what?
Roots.
Roots, that's right. And Dateline for 5 points. Last question of the game. Someone who worked for Google by the name of Emma Iwao back on March 14th said she came up with 31 pi digits. Absolutely right. And we have used up all of our questions. Correct, judges? We will be back. It looks like Greenbelt is moving to the finals. Don't go away. And welcome back. What a great game. Till the midpoint, nobody knew what direction this game was headed. That is a tribute to the skill of both of these teams. A round of applause for everybody. You guys just did a super job today. And with 295 points, the red team, Greenbelt, is going on for the first time ever to the finals. Congratulations, Kai and Hiram and John. And Eleanor is over the moon. Dr. Gaines, congratulations. Mr. Richardson, excuse me. What a tremendous debut performance you had here this year and last. And Whitehall, a round of applause for this wonderful team. Maya and Alonzo and 7th. And look at the alternates back there. We've got Abigail and we've got Johnny back there and Emma. Miss Farmer is there, Miss Chilcote, and of course the one and only Dawn Wine, who really turned this program around. You are wonderful champions now and forever. So, make sure you tune in for the finals because it will be Greenbelt versus Glenarden Woods. See you then. I'm Dave Zarin. Bye-bye.